Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Broadcasting Network, 10:50 a.m., following broadcasts in 102.3 FM and 106.5 FM. We are serving the world one household at a time. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Up Connect, and Kimiator Peak Performance Coaching.
And we are back. We have our third guest coming up. We have Austin Watkins. Austin is a mushroom fanatic. And I'm talking culinary mushrooms. Austin is an entrepreneur. He's got a whole background of helping people do grow rooms for mushrooms, cultivating incredible spaces with people, and so much more. He's got a long list of things that he loves to do and that he does with others. So we are going to have him in. Austin, how are you doing?
Well, thank you for having me, Liam.
Absolutely. I gotta preface this with Austin is also my brother. So I wanted to have Austin on today because I love Austin's mindset when it comes to food in general, and also when we think of food, we think of already cooked and made food. Yes. Where we got to take that back to the root, and Austin is really good at explaining the roots. How are you doing today, Austin?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking.
Awesome to hear.
Yeah.
And then Austin Noss is here as well.
Hello.
Greetings.
I want to start this off with you. Okay, let's do this. We lived our whole lives in a regular house. We got the grass in the front yard. We have the regular backyard, and it's just never used. Our lawns are never used. They're used to maybe play a little football, a little catch here and there. But what you did is pretty incredible. You built these raised beds. They're all over the front yard. They're producing crops. They're producing different flowers and everything. You've also done the same thing in the back. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that and where did you get that idea?
Yeah. Let's see. So to preface, I think that the timing that the garden came into effect in the front yard was kind of perfect timing. As in the past, we really did use the front yard a good amount. We would run around playing tag or football, as you mentioned, and tackle each other on the grass. So there wasn't really an available space for a garden. We always had a pool and a trampoline in the backyard. So the front yard garden idea came from witnessing other individuals throughout San Diego County. I worked for a door-to-door farming group in the past, and who would bring the idea of fresh fruits and vegetables from local farms to individuals who might be interested in supporting local groups. So witnessing other people gardening in their front yards really sparked an interest for me of how could I utilize the lawn that is being irrigated daily and for some reason still in the middle of summer, in the middle of the day, is being irrigated and yet it's not beautifully green. How can I make more use of this space? And so eventually I acquired some redwood jackets, so the end pieces of redwood that have been milled from a local park in Balboa Park here in San Diego County. And I made some raised beds, got soil from a guy up in Ramona area who's actively cultivating soil and making sure to have beneficial microbes added. And since then, we've been able to grow tomatoes and corn and amaranth and all sorts of leafy greens, collards and kale. And now the interest is even greater broadened as I'd like to start cultivating more plants that we don't often see. And how can I get the community involved around me, my neighbors, to also start gardens so we can begin trading produce and passing on seeds. And So yeah, I mean, there's a brief introduction to what got me into gardening in the first place.
Yeah. And so I guess it sounds like, your general way of going about this is to create more of like a collaborative, self-sufficient community, right? Where maybe we all don't have to have redwood raised beds, but that idea of getting back to, and we had this conversation actually, and we'll have it again about ancestral living, and that's a whole nother topic. But it's the idea of getting back to how grandma's cooking the garden in the back. You get the tomatoes, and you're making the salad with the things that you grew, and they always taste so much better. Is that kind of what you're going towards and moving towards a community-based self-sufficiency?
Yeah, absolutely. Something that's beautiful is I had the opportunity to travel through parts of South America, Argentina, Peru, and Chile. And through that, I was able to witness culture, a shift of culture to something I never witnessed before living in San Diego County and in suburban landscape. And or maybe there's just differences of culture. So seeing how other people live and how other people are able to share within their communities the goods that they have, maybe having lesser availability to the amount of store-bought ingredients that I would have availability for here in San Diego. People would grow these things in their gardens and would share them with their neighbors. People would bake breads and have a community gathering in order to share the bread or share the pizza that they just made out of their cob or earthen-style oven. So getting back to our roots, or this idea of ancestral living, really is just learning how to reconnect with our sense of community, with our sense of self, and you mentioned self-sufficiency, our ability to begin producing and utilizing resources that we have within our local community, rather than consistently contributing things to the waste stream, which is so prevalent in the society and the world that we live in today.
Yeah. And you, one thing that I've heard you say, which is really, really cool, is because it's not an either or. It's not you get everything from the store, or you cut out the store and you get everything. You make everything, or you make everything and you grow everything on your own. That's really tough to do. It's more of them complementing each other kind of thing. And us, because we still need grocery stores and things to bring in things from all over the world. Yeah. It's important, but it's nice to get back to that. And it's important to get back to that self-sufficiency, growing your own vegetables, and all of that. But I think that there might be a fear that it's too tough, because there's so much to learn about composting and what minerals go well in the soil to benefit this vegetable versus this vegetable. So can you give us a little enlightenment on the, whether it's easy or tough, or can your average guy or girl just do that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, anything can be done from a small scale to a large scale, depending on where you are and where you live, and with the amount of time that you have available. Or I think that if we look into our daily lives, I know if I look into my life, I find there are definitely investments of time that I could invest towards maybe learning how to craft sourdough bread in my house in the oven that I already have, using the same ingredients that I have, and incorporating a sourdough starter. Or like learning how to make kombucha at home, because everybody's drinking it now and it seems interesting, and I like the flavor, and I like the idea of beneficial microbes entering my gut and helping my health in general. So how can I incorporate that? So there's so many different ways and different things that we can learn about very, very simply using on social media, using YouTube. Like there's a plethora of videos and information on the web and in books and in libraries that we can very easily learn simple things. And there's no need to immediately switch out, or even the idea of switching out everything, completely stopping grocery store and taking everything from your local environment, crafting goods and things at home, but to slowly start incorporating, how can I utilize the local sage here in San Diego County and incorporate that into a meal? How can I start growing tomatoes in my deck space just outside of my house? How can I, begin saving the pickle, or saving the cucumbers, or saving the carrots that I just grew from my garden? Well, pickle them, or figure out a way to store them using a method of fermentation. All of these things can be learned very simply, and we have such a viable amount of resources out there for learning already.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, you can learn anything, even if you're like the greatest cook or anything. You should always learn anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nasir and I were just talking about this, and you brought it up as well, just how easy it is for us to obtain information. And I can easily learn, probably in a 2-minute and 50-second video, how to compost and what the benefits of that are, and how to properly disperse of what foods and all of that kind of stuff. So it's easily attainable, and it just takes that wanting to be more self-sufficient, because like I was saying, we get comfortable, in our lives, and it's nice to get back to that ancestral self-sufficiency.
I totally agree.
Yes. So, Austin, I wanted to ask you about your, very, very quickly, we got a short amount of time, about your mushrooms. You just built a whole operation, and you are fruiting. What kind of mushrooms right now?
Yeah, so we're working specifically with multiple varieties of oyster mushroom. There's probably 20 varieties of mushrooms that I will be growing and that are currently in the process of being cultivated. We have a list of medicinal mushrooms useful in teas or in tincture form, like reishi, turkey tail, lion's mane, which is also a culinary mushroom. So oyster mushrooms are wonderful, and lion's mane, also pioppino, enoki, and chestnut. So many different names might go over some of our heads. But what's really cool about this this new farm that I've been able to start is I'm able to utilize sawdust from a local wood harvesting company. They take urban trees in the San Diego County area, and they are able to mill them and make beautiful furniture. And I take the sawdust, and I've begun cultivating things like oyster mushrooms on them, which are, it's a powerful way to remove something from the waste stream and begin to produce food from it, and an organic setting, like something that's it was so underutilized, and now it's just turned to something beautiful.
Yeah. Is there a specific kind of wood that's best to grow the mushrooms on?
That's a good question. We've been working a lot with there's been a lot of sawdust of redwood and eucalyptus that has come through, and different pine trees in the area. And I'm in the process of researching and learning on how to utilize these woods. They have a lot of essential oils that would prohibit fungal growth or lessen the ability for fungus to grow effectively. So I've been utilizing some varieties of eucalyptus, and we're doing a lot of oak. So oaks and pretty much any other hardwood, if it's avocado or apple or any kind of fruit tree hardwood. But right now it's all in the works. So we're seeing what would like to grow most effectively, and in whatever method we can, given the temperatures that we have in San Diego right now, and just trying to provide a safe setting to cultivate these mushrooms.
Awesome. Can you? So I'm assuming you can mix those mushrooms, right? I mean, mix the woods.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm gonna have the benefit of being able to try those mushrooms here soon. Oyster mushrooms are definitely tasty. Austin, it's been incredible talking with you. We'll have to have you back. I appreciate your time. And is there a good way for people to reach out to you to follow what you're doing?
That's a really good question. I haven't been on social media all too often, but if you checked out Austin Watkins on Instagram, you'd probably be able to find me, or on Facebook. And I'll probably begin broadcasting more of the information of what I've been sharing. And when we have community events over on a property in Chula Vista that I've been working on most recently, I'd love to have anyone and everyone out who'd be interested in urban wood or supporting local businesses and acquiring mushrooms and culinary mushrooms, of course, and different varieties of produce. I'm all for it.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you, and look forward to talking with you again, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
We are live on KCAA Broadcasting Network, 10:50 a.m., following broadcasts in 102.3 FM and 106.5 FM. We are serving over 5 million households in the Inland Empire, North County, San Diego, Orange County, and San Gabriel Valley. We are serving the world one household at a time. We are also in iHeart, Spotify, Tiki Live, Ustream, Apple, iTunes, and anywhere with your favorite podcast. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Up Connect, and Kim Yater Peak Performance Coaching.